Andy's my favorite topic. I'd just as soon talk about him as anything else when it comes to guitar making. In my opinion, Andy's the best guitar maker I've ever met. Some people say, he's one in a million. You know, I go, no, he's just one. He has the capacity to see the world in a broader sense. One thing that I wanted in this search that ended up ending with Andy, and by the way, the search wasn't that type of, not like an executive search. I just listed what I wanted, I put it in the drawer, asked God to help me, and one day Andy appeared. And I didn't do anything in between those two actions. And there he was, standing in front of me. He's got this natural way about him that's just good. There's nothing really wrong with Andy. One of the things that I was just hoping for when I found somebody to take the next generation forward with Taylor Guitars was not only a person with talent, but a person that's just a good guy. Disposition and personality play a big part in somebody's ability to have a long and happy career. He understands that living a good life is part and parcel with doing good work for a real long time. What's really neat about Andy is that he's humble, and yet he's super confident. So his ego is healthy, but he doesn't have to put it out there himself. What he's doing for us at Taylor is he's making our guitars sound better. He's got years of practice. He understands where guitars came from, but he's got his own ideas that pay homage to those. He's been able to put things together. So-and-so did this worked then, I've studied that deeply, and he has his own experiences. One thing that allows Andy to be a great builder is he is an incredible player. And he can't separate his ability to build with his ability to play. It's all one thing to Andy. With Andy's ability to play, he can self-correct his own building. Andy made a transition from building guitars by himself in a garage, and he would talk to the client, build a guitar, play with the client, see how maybe the guy says, hey, I want a guitar that does this. Andy go, let's play together. Right now, Andy's client list is a lot broader because his client is now not just the guitar player, but it's the dealer, it's the service guys that work for us, it's the finance department, it's the sales and marketing, it's the production team that's got to build his designs, and so he has to keep all of this in mind. Not very many people have that capacity, but Andy does. I feel like I have a whole new generation to raise. We're at a point right now where the people that are my age are retiring from Taylor. So I think Andy has the potential, and I also believe he's going to realize the potential to be, I'm going to say, the most influential person in guitars in the world for the next 30 years or 40 years, maybe even beyond his life. He's onto things that just make a lot of sense, and he's doing some really great work, and we're awfully pleased to have him here.
What I appreciate about Bob is the way that he thinks about building something. Whether it's the innovations in tooling, in technology, his contribution in building a consistently good instrument. Bob has this unique ability to look at something and think, well, this is the thing I want to make. How am I going to go about making this? I don't want to just do a better job. I want to think of a better process for making this thing so that every time I make this, it comes out exactly the way I want. all throughout our factory, that's what you see in our instruments. Every single part of every instrument is intentional. I might do it with a chisel and know this is good. This is exactly what this part needs to be. If I try and teach 20 people to use chisels and teach them how to do that cut, I'm going to end up with 20 different cuts, 20 different parts. At the end of the day, what I really want is if I line up 10 instruments, I want them to be 10 versions of a great instrument that all reflect the uniqueness of the piece of wood they were built from. And so that's what I love learning from Bob is if you're going to make something, it's a good thing. It's a noble pursuit to do it well. And it's also an equally noble pursuit to think of a process or a mechanism that you can use to enable other people to result in the good thing that you intended. What I do as a guitar maker is I build the guitar in a very traditional way. I use my hand tools, my chisels, and my planes. I build the guitar and then I play it and know, oh, this is a good guitar. Or I want to refine this aspect a little more, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I come up with an instrument that I love, that is honoring to the materials it's built of, that suits the needs of a musician, hopefully and then some. And then I start to translate it. Because our method of producing an instrument, well, Bob's real gift and ability is let's tool for it. Let's make sure that every time it's just right. So what that means is I translate something very organic and very complex in that way and turn it into a language that can be spoken by a team of engineers, of machinists, of tool makers. And so we convert it into a design, every little piece, every aspect, we turn it into a process, a single part at a time. One single tool, one clamp, one gauge, one cutter, one little bit at a time until that thing is exactly the guitar we intended to build. And that's where Bob and I, we work together very well. We're a lot alike in our desire to build a great instrument. So I make my guitar, and then Bob and I get together and we share our abilities with each other. He helps to understand, here's how we're going to produce it, or we should try using this tool to make this specific cut, or we need to think about a whole new schedule for producing and getting this piece of wood ready because of what we're about to ask it to do. All of those things, he has a wealth of experience in that way. And so that makes our relationship very unique in that I can bounce ideas off him, he can bounce ideas off me, and working together, we get to play to our strengths and build a really wonderful instrument.
I can't tell you how many times I just receive a text from Andy that just says, hey, you know what? I love building guitars, and I'm so happy that I get to do it here, especially since we get to help a lot of people make a living around the world. I like that even better than making one guitar by myself. I feel safe with Andy in making predictions of what will happen for the next 30 or 40 years because he's made out of the stuff that can last 30 or 40 years. When you're made out of that stuff, you tend to actually follow through.